Hi, good afternoon. How the devil are you? Hi. I just wanted to come and say this. I'm going to be somewhere else. I'm unavoidably detained or something. A bit later. So I thought I'd come and do a live, and I wasn't going to make it live. I was going to do a pre-record, and then I thought, no. I want to actually see how people respond to these terrible things I'm just about to say. So there was a meeting yesterday. Oh my God, it was so amazing. It was so amazing because we're how many freaking years on from all of us knowing that puberty blockers are being given to children. And let's face it, most of us didn't even know until sort of 2016. But some people did. Some people were acutely aware of it. And I just feel like I feel like someone has made this bullshit out of 1,000 Lego pieces. And what everyone seems to want to do about this puberty blockers, about giving these nasty, vile, mutilating drugs to children that puts them on a pathway for surgery. And we know the NHS is quite invested. And we know from whistleblowers, we know that what was really going on in GIDS or JIDS, however you might call it. How nice is my hoodie, by the way? I'd rather be a savage. This is a reference to Brave New World. I'd rather be a savage and speak the truth and be civilized and keep my mouth shut, basically. Anyway, from really early doors, what we know about the motivations of people in the gender identity disabling sterilization society, like those people, what we know is they had delusions of grandeur, and they really didn't give a shit about trying to find out whether or not it was a good thing or a bad thing, because they couldn't have found any evidence that it was a good thing. So what we know is in their little polite conversations, not the way that I speak, not probably the way that you speak, but in these polite conversations, they managed to get to a point where nobody said, aren't we sterilizing the kids? Aren't we like, I don't know, some 1930s German malevolent doctor? Are we not experimenting on children? Are we not doing live experiments on healthy children's bodies? Like, they knew that they knew that some of the parents were homophobic. They fucking knew it. They didn't think maybe. These parents were overtly homophobic, the ones taking their little effeminate boys and their masculine girls to those services. It's not kind of, you don't have to be some sort of highly trained psychologist. In fact, it's probably better if you're not. But they knew it. They knew it. They knew that what they were doing was sterilizing children. They fucking knew it. They all know it. They know that they change the shape of a girl's genitals when she takes testosterone, that she's never getting her voice back. They know that 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds have no fucking idea of what they know, what they do and they don't know. They know it. They all know it. I'm telling you, I couldn't have been in that meeting yesterday. And as Rosie Duffield said at the end of it, something like, there seemed to be an imbalance in the room. Like, are you fucking joking? You're like, how can you sit there meekly and claim you care about children and not use accurate language about everybody else in the room and what they were prepared to do? How can we sit there and go, well, you know, Hilary Cass did an extensive review. Hilary Cass is gutless and a coward. Fucking hell. Go to any single housing estate in this country. Go to any woman budgeting her family's bloody eating bills. Go and ask anyone. Do you think it's right to sterilize children? Do you think your 8-year-old knows better than adults about what they are? Do you think it's possible to change sex? Why are you having? How can any of you? When we sat there, we were shocked. We were just, they cut her hands off. There was, we said that we thought maybe she would be, better with hands. We said there'd been an extensive review where well, we thought she might be better with hands. There was an imbalance where people said it was fine to go without the hands. Oh my god, you're such a fucking hero. Wow. It's so amazing. Oh my god. Thank God you're getting paid like £90,000 a year to say such gutless things. In fact, to not really say anything at all. And let me say, when Rosie Duffield resigned from Labour, she was so brave. She did it after the election. It was so brave. But when she resigned about the winter fuel allowance, in no way in her letter did she talk about the fact that the Labour Party, what the Labour Party wanted to do, and about the bullying. Like none of it, none of it. So it's just too annoying. It's just too annoying. I I just don't really understand. Like, you give me £90,000, holy Jesus, I wouldn't shut up. Just, I'll do it. Just give me 90 grand. Yeah, it's just, it's just so enraging. Like everyone as well. Like, if, if, if your last hope, right, is Rosie Duffield in that meeting, and she bottles it like that and doesn't say, I know it's a parliamentary meeting. I know there's a certain way that committees are supposed to speak, but I didn't know that meant keeping everything right here and not saying it. And if it does, then they're not really fit for purpose, are they? Like, come on. It's about time we had some guts in politics. Just speaking truthfully. No, you don't have to grandstand. You don't have to grandstand. You just have to speak truthfully. I mean, I before I came on here, I wanted to get the quote from Margaret Thatcher. Quite accurate. Let me just show you what that is. There. And that's how I feel. Like, in fact, that woman has got so many amazing quotes. I mean, you may not like her, but she was very, very good at speaking. I mean, can you imagine any of those? Like Neil Kinnock, can you imagine any of them back in the like 1980s just saying kind of weird platitude, weird, nothing means anything kind of statements, like from all sides of politics, like Tony Benn, Anne Widdecombe, politicians that I remember, even though I suspect some of them were just elitist assholes who just got a lot of money and enjoyed sort of setting up their stocks and we didn't know anything about it. I'm not saying that that's the case, but there was a pride in at least sounding like you had conviction. Like, at least use your whole voice. What is this sort of speaking like, I just hope that, I just wish that, sometimes we could just reflect, blah, blah, blah. No, what you had to say in that room, what someone had to say is, what somebody had to say is, hello, do you know that these are sterilizing children? There's no fucking proof. There is no proof or data anywhere that this does any good for any child at any point. In this country, you don't have criminal liability until a certain age. So why on earth are we thinking for one tiny little morsel of a second that it is acceptable to mutilate and sterilize children? And I would be tempted to say the only rationale for anyone agreeing to this, and let's just be honest, is because they hate children. They hate children and they dislike children more. Or rather, they like their careers more than they give a shit about kids. Like, can we not say that? Would that not be like break the spell kind of language? If somebody had stood up and said, I think anybody who advocates for the sterilization of children for whatever reason except genuine physical disease life-saving, i.e. like cancer treatments, that anybody who advocates for the sterilization of children or the mutilation of children or puts children on a pathway is a ghoul, is morally bankrupt. Like, let's imagine instead of WPATH and all this bullshit they were talking, and all these people, I think someone called Gary Butler or whatever, them all trying to sort of, I don't know, use language to totally disguise the fact they're talking about mutilating kids, right? Let's just say instead of that, they were talking about putting all black children in a shit school system and segregating our school system. Let's say they were doing that instead, and that's what they wanted to do. Or they had decided that anybody who had blue eyes had to be sterilized because actually blue eyes was blah, 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 whatever it is, right? Let's say they were doing that instead. Let's say it was a meeting so that people could just be racist. Do you honestly think that people would be talking in these sort of half voice hush tones, trying to be rational and reasonable? Because I don't. And that tells me that genuinely people are either, I don't even think frightened. I was going to say frightened, which I think lets them off. People don't think it's that bad. If you're not using language as if what's being said in front of you is about abusing children, if you're trying to, and we've seen it with the Pakistani Muslim paedophile rape gangs, and the way that people talk about that, and the way that people hold their language back when they talk about that, all I can conclude is they don't really think it's that big a deal. If everyone can sit there and kind of be, I don't know whether it's respectful to the process or kind of beholden to the process, and you don't feel so much that you use really blunt language, then I don't know. I can't imagine people sat in that room with a bunch from the KKK sitting there and everyone saying, nodding along in agreement and just asking a couple of questions like, well, we sort of think that maybe racism is bad. We've had a couple of reports where we really have said that racism is bad, and some people have racial distress. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me, and it only makes sense if you make it such that nobody really gives a shit. Nobody really cares enough. Nobody actually thinks it's that bad. So anyway, that's what I want to say. Look, there's only one way to change politics, people, and that's be part of it. Which is why we've decided to do, Party of Women, which I'm not saying we have to go into Parliament and stop and start using unparliamentary language, right? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I would go in and go, you're all a bunch of fucking pedophiles. What the hell is wrong with you trying to sterilize kids, you fucking ghouls? I'm not saying I would say that. But I would definitely say you are trying to justify what you are doing on this, what people are doing is justifying sterilizing children. And I would like you to find language that helps you justify it. Recognition that sterilization is the end result. I want you to tell me how you justify that. Like, give me the reasons that is justified. Not some children have gender distress and blah, blah, blah. And we find that, maybe we should actually have a look and see if it's okay to justify children. Should we do that? Oh, Hilary Cass couldn't sit on a bus. Oh no. Might as well have been hung for a bloody sheep than a lamb, right? You might as well just said the truth, Dr. Cass, as opposed to a report which I feel was about saving the answers of your colleagues. Anyway, so if you want to be part of this, all I'm saying is Party of Women is where it's at. And I mean, I don't have to speak for you as Party of Women. There's only a couple of things you have to agree to. Number one, repeal the GRA. No man has a vagina. No woman has a penis. There's no such thing as non-binary. And transitioning children is profound abuse. That's kind of it. right? How you run your campaign, everything else is entirely up to you. We will support you all the way through it. But you've got to actually be part of it. It's look, there were people sat in there today, and I'm sure their organisations are great and they all mean well. But the end result today of all these people that have had all these fucking meetings with MPs. Oh, we had a great meeting with an MP. I'm so glad that MP spoke to us. Oh, look, we've been lovely anointed by the great and the good because, yes, okay, I may have stolen somebody's women's rights campaign group from somebody else. I may have stolen it. But we've had great meetings. What have they achieved? I'll tell you what. Fuck all. Nothing. So you want to change this? You've got to be the face of change. That's all you have to do. That's all I can say. And I don't mean to be mean because I know so many of these women mean well, but they mean well with happy to wade through treacle. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. How can a campaign group called, well, I don't even know if they're a campaign group, a group of people supported Rosie Duffield. I was like, oh, she's so great. I mean, Jesus Christ, if this is your hope, you're all doomed. That's all I can say. Anyway, join the party of women. Be the change. Have the conversations. Be the person speaking the words that you want someone to say. That's all I'm saying. If you can be, if you can be the person that drives change, then I promise we will win. If you can come and join me in the most effective campaigning on this issue in the world, then I promise we will win. And you know why else we're going to win? Well, because I never
for I could swim Loch Lomond and be home in half an hour. Maybe the air gave me the drive, for I'm all aglow and alive. What a day!